Hi, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the 2022 Monaco Yacht Show. Alright, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Monaco. Now, as you can see behind me here, we've got a massive 85 meter yacht here, MOTI Yacht B2 or B squared, depending on how you want to say it. And then we've got MOTI Yacht Apo over here. We're going to go and see that boat in another video. But what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to take you around the whole show in sections to show you what the show is like. We've got a live stream coming on the Saturday. So that will be walking you through, obviously, in a live feature, and we're just going to go through and we're going to talk about all the big boats that are at the show. Right now, I'm just going to do a general video about the show and take you around it and show you what's going on in what sections. So let's do that. So as we're walking through, this is MOTI Yacht Icon. She's just been listed for sale, actually. This vessel was built in 2009. As far as I know, the vessel has been owned by the same owner the entire time, but now the vessel's finally come up for sale. 86 meters, I think, or 220 feet approximately. And she is a beauty, actually. Very high tech. Well, she was when she was launched, but that was a long time ago. 2009 is a long time in super yacht years. But I'm sure it's been refit at some point. I'll have to check those details. I'll bring that to you in the live stream. More information on that. As you can see over there, that's Apo. That's where we were just a minute ago. And we've come into this section here. I'll show you on the map where we are. And this is, like I said, this is Icon here and Elandes here. Now on Elandes, you can see it says RYS, and that is the Royal Yacht Squadron, which is based in the UK, in the Isle of Wight. And any vessel in the Royal Yacht Squadron has the privilege of flying the white ensign of the Royal Navy when the owner is on board, which he clearly is not right now. This boat's been here before at the yacht show, and before it did have the white ensign on it, but yeah, it doesn't have it today. That means the boss is not here. I will do a video in the future on the reasons behind why they can fly that white ensign, but it's fascinating to me. And then next to it here, we've got right here the grey hulled one. That is MOTI Yacht Victorious. Fascinating story to this boat, owned by two different people before it was even launched. Well, technically it was being built in Chile, and the company went out of business. And Graham Hart bought it, the guy behind Ulysses and Andromeda, and he transported it to New Zealand, still in pieces, in sections, and then he had somebody start working on it in New Zealand, and then he decided he wanted to buy a bigger boat before it was even built. So this one got put on hold, and then someone else bought it, took it to Turkey, so it got transferred again to another country, to Turkey, 14,000 miles in total from Chile, and it was finished in Turkey by a chap who couldn't find a shipyard that would do the yacht in the way he wanted, so he decided to form his own shipyard called AK Yachts, and he's the owner of that today. We're going to be going on this boat for a tour. So I've already told you too much on that boat, but we're going to go and do a tour on that boat, and that will be a separate video. So we'll move on. I don't know anything about this sailing yacht. I will find out. I do believe the name of the vessel is Baboon, which is interesting in itself. And you've got your waste eco toilet. This is the thing that goes up to boats. It takes out all the waste when they come into port. And then, we've got this boat here. Got, there you go, Baboon. Look, I don't know whether you can see that. There you go. That's a strange name for a boat. Look at the wood on it. That's incredible. I would not like to be the person who has to keep up with that wood. I'm sure there's more than one. But that is something to behold, isn't it? All right, so here we've got MOTI Yacht. Here Comes the Sun. Kind of an unusual name for a boat. This is a Amels build, and quite a stunner. I love a blue hull. I think it makes it look much nicer than a standard wedding cake style white boat. Yeah, more upkeep. I think it needs to be painted more often because of the colour, but I think it's worth it. If you've got this kind of money, it's worth it. So okay, so over here, this section here, you can, because it's quite a long way to walk around the marina, you can go here and you can get on boats and they'll take you. That's what's happening right there. They'll take you across the marina to the other side, so you can, so you don't have to walk all the way around. So it will take you over there to that point there. You can see it there, and it saves you having to, because otherwise you'd have to go all the way around. It's like 2 miles. Or I don't know what that is in kilometers, 5 kilometers, and yeah, it's quite the walk, and it'll take you there. We're going to do that later. We're going to do that in the live stream. We're going to take that boat across. All right, so this is a nice looking boat. So this is docked next to Lucine, which is just there on the right hand side. MOTI Yacht Alchemist, 61 meter, 61 and a half meters, built by San Lorenzo, and has a beam of 12 meters, which is decent sized, decent width of the boat for a vessel of 61 meters. Gross tonnage of 1,300 gross tons, and can carry 12 guests and 14 crew. Very nicely done here. You got the beach club down there. I don't know whether you can see in there. Let me see. I'll adjust the thing, so you can see inside there. Lots of seating. And looks like a very inviting place to want to sit out on the aft deck there. All right, so this part of the show, this is where all of the big boys come. These are all of the yacht builders, should I say? We've got Lursen, Aberking, Erasmussen, Silver Yachts. This is you wouldn't believe it, but this is actually a temporary structure that's only built during the show, and then it gets taken down again. I mean, it looks like it's permanent, right? It looks like a row of shops that you would in a high street, in a nice high street. Obviously, they have to give off the impression of wealth to the people who are potentially going to come in to order a brand new yacht. But this is where you can go in and you can start that initial conversation with the shipbuilder about how you want to have your yacht built. So yeah, this is in the main section of the marina. I'll show you on a map where we are right now. Just want to show you this. Look at this. This is Annel's and Damon Yachting stand, and they've got a full-on barista in here with the proper espresso machine in the background there, full gear. And I just had a coffee from them. It's free, and it was amazing coffee. And then yesterday we were in the pavilion and we bought 3 cappuccinos, small cappuccinos in the pavilion, and they charged us 24 euros for 3 small cappuccinos. And when I checked the machine, they were using a Nespresso machine. So it was an espresso pod. Yeah, 24 euros. And here, proper barista, free. You got to be in the show. So I'm just off where we've just been with all of the shipbuilders. That's the street there, if you like, that high street of shipbuilders. You can see it just there. And now we're into the section where they've got some of the sort of medium-sized yachts, sort of like 50, 60, 70 meter yachts down here. The one behind me here is MOTI Yacht Lucine. Now, Lucine means moon in Armenian, I believe. And there's a lot of references to the moon on board this vessel. Now, we're doing a tour on this vessel. That video will be coming, that will be its own video. So look out for that one. But let's move on. All right, so what have we got here? We got MOTI Yacht Luna B. Now this is an Ocean Co-built yacht, built in 2005, or delivered in 2005. And it's 66 meters in length. It's a very unusual shape, isn't it? Most yachts look like this, with the pointy rear end, with the wedding cake layers on it, going up deck by deck. But this one, you've got this sort of bulbous round butt on it, and not an awful lot of open. Well, they've got open spaces, but they're all covered. But to be honest, it gets so hot most of the time you won't cover on your open spaces. So what's interesting about this boat is the original name of this boat was Dilbar. Yes, that Dilbar. So this is his first boat. Later on, he had another boat named Dilbar, which was 110 meter, which became, it's now called Alrea, but it was called Dilbar, then Luna, then Ona, excuse me, and then Alrea. So this boat also went down that list. So it was originally called Dilbar, then it was called Dilbar 1, which is when he got his other boat, I would imagine. And he wanted to register them both in the same place, so he changed the name of this one to Dilbar 1. Then it went to Ona, and then it went to Natita, and then it went to Luna B. Now, all of the first three names would have all been under the same owner, and this, and then it changed. With the complete name changes would have been when the vessel was sold. But a very unusual rear end on it. Nice area down there for hanging out. Hopefully you can see that. And then a nice, what do you want to call that? Swim platform, what would you call it? Which is a shell door, isn't it? And it opens out into a swim platform. Oh, look at this. All right, so this is an interesting boat. This is a boat built by a company called Silent Yachts. You might have heard of them. This boat, I don't know how you pronounce that name. How do you pronounce the name of this boat?
This is Vision F, Black
Okay.
Edition.
What, it says BLCK.
Black.
It's just black, is it?
Yes,
okay.
Black Edition.
All right, thanks. Okay, a very interesting color scheme on it. I'm not quite sure why you would want to paint a boat matte black, but there you go, they've done it. As you can possibly see down there, it'd be very hard to keep this vessel clean. So I wouldn't want to be one of the deckhands cleaning it every day. What's interesting about it is it has a solar panel array on the top deck. This is built by Silent Yachts, by the way. This is not a hybrid propulsion system, but they do have one in development. But this does have solar panels on it, and they enable the vessel to. They have battery bank as well, and it does not supply enough power for propulsion, but it has enough power to power the AC and the interior equipment like TVs and lights and stuff like that. So that's something, isn't it? And they're on the way. They've got a new prototype coming, which is a hybrid propulsion system. Unfortunately, it's not here right now, but there is a sign over here that tells you more about it, and that is coming in the future. And you can click on this if you want to find out more about it. This is this walkway here comes down onto this floating pontoon. But this is actually a temporary structure, believe it or not. All of these boats will have been moved before the show started to make way for the yachts, which is on this side. And this is actually, like I said, a floating pontoon. They put blue carpet on. You know when you're in Monaco and there's blue carpet everywhere outside. And this is where people can walk right around the harbour, which you can't normally do. You would have to walk around on the hard, and this wouldn't be here. So this is put in specifically for the show. So everything that you see here is temporary. It's incredible what they do. Okay, so this section of Super Yachts is where the boats are named after strippers, or strippers who did really well stripping and they bought boats.
Yeah, so it's like a surprise.
All right, so we've come across from where those medium-sized yachts are, the 50, 60, 70 meter yachts, which is just down this pontoon here. And we've come into this section now. This is like tenders and toys. It's also got a lot of companies here like superyachts.com and the smaller companies that generally they build stuff for the yachts. They don't build yachts, but they build things for the yachts, like Sea-Doos and ski or what you call those sea bobs and things like that. And this is the section where they display that kind of stuff. So let's take a walk down. All right, so we've got things like this stuff. So we've got little mini submarines. Obviously that's not actual size. This is a model of what the submarine looks like. And yeah, you've got another one here, which is quite crazy. I don't think I could go inside one of those. It's yeah. So yeah, it's quite interesting. And then you've got Hodgson tenders. So you've got all these smaller companies who are building crazy stuff. I don't even know what that is. If you know what that is, put a comment below. Some sort of surfboard slash something or other. I don't know. But yeah, anything goes here. And then you've got like that is like a ski-doo, not a ski-doo, a sea-doo, but it's by a different company. So this is what we're talking about here. We got everything down this section, and this section is generally called tenders and toys. And then we've got some cars over here. Now, this is a crazy looking thing. I thought it was a Maserati at first, but it's actually something called a Da Vinci, and it is actually electric, which is almost blasphemy as far as I'm concerned, because these cars look amazing. They look like, you know, 1920s racing cars, and yet they're electric. And I didn't even realize they were until last night. And one drove past me and it was completely silent, and then I realized, and I lost interest very quickly. So from old 90s 20s style cars with electric motors to helicopters, it's crazy down here. But this is my favorite. This is my favorite over here. Let's go and check it out. An original Riva Aquarama. Cha-ching! Look at that. That is beautiful. Aquarama, look. And that is stunning. This is, and each one of them has its own name, individually named. And there's a name on this one. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but that's the name of it. And that is incredible. Just outside of the gate there, the blue thing there, that's the end of the show. Just over there, there's a place called Monaco Boat Service, and they look after these boats, the Riva Aquaramas. I have filmed in past boat shows where they've actually pulled one out of the water with the cranes over here, and then they've washed it down and they've put it away. And what they do is they bring them out and put them onto these things here, and then they take them inside and store them. And they've got like, they basically cut a hole into the mountain, and they store all these boats, Riva Aquaramas and different types of Rivas inside there. It's quite incredible to see. I've been trying to get them to allow me to go in and film for at least 4 years, and there's always some reason why either I can't go or they can't let me in. But I will keep persevering, and one day we'll get it done. Look at this, a row of original Riva Aquaramas. These ones here with the rounded edge, the one that's called Casino Royale over there, they're one of the very first Riva Aquaramas that they built. The only time I ever feel like this is when I go to like a Ferrari dealership or a Porsche dealership, or I see some, you know, car like a 918 Spider. I get that feeling. This gives me the same feeling as that. So let's check them out. So like I said, this is one of the originals. I mean, you can see it's considerably smaller than the one next to it. Ooh, hello. The car deck is just over there, by the way. But yeah, this is one of the original Rivas. This is also an Aquarama as well, but this is one of the very first ones. Later on, they started to put this center section down the middle so people can step onto the boat and walk up. So people could step onto the boat there and walk up into the bathing area, if you like. And then later on, they started to build these units here, and these are, you know, these were all famous because they had American V8 engines in them, or like 2 of them, and they also built one that was had 2 Lamborghini engines in, so it had 2 V12s in it. There's one of one, but these boats came later on. These are still very expensive, but they've got like regular marine engines in them. And these are, although these are very collectible, they're not as collectible as the originals. Oh my God, I've seen it all now. This is at least it looks like an original 1960s Aquarama, but it is 100% electric. So it looks like they've taken an original Aquarama and violated it basically and removed the glorious V8 engines from it and put in an electric fuel cell or whatever they call it. That is quite shocking, really. I never thought that would happen, but it's probably some very rich person who wants to appear to be green, so they have, you know, destroyed this beautiful boat and put electric in it. I'm sure it's very good when it's working, but I'm sure it doesn't have anywhere near the range that the original boat had, and it's probably lost a lot of its character too. You can see there's some sort of box in there. Okay, so we've finally got around to the other side of the... So I've basically walked all the way around the show now, and we're at the car deck. I'm going to try and get in to do a video that will come in a future video, of course, but it all depends on how much time. I missed a day of the show this year, so I only have 3 days. So if I can, I will come in. I mean, I love to come into the car deck, although there's not the same selection of cars that there normally is, but there is a Porsche 911 there, so it's Brabus, being Brabused. I think that's a verb now. And there's also another Brabus yacht here. I did a video last year on a similar type of Brabus yacht, so if you want to check it out, maybe I'll put a link in the description or something like that. All right, guys, I'm going to finish here. I hope you enjoyed this first video from the Monaco Yacht Show. Stay tuned. We've got some yacht tours to do on some big boats, and we've got a live stream coming on the Saturday. That should be around I think 1 p.m. I will put, obviously there'll be a thing up before the live stream starts to tell you when it's starting and all that information. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to put your comments down below. I'm sure you will anyway. Tell me what you think. What was the favorite boat that you saw at the show so far, and we'll try and include that in a future video. All right, don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell for future notifications. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye.